Hi guys, welcome to Learning Link. Today we are talking just to the parents. So this is a video for caregivers, parents, anybody who has a child that is going into kindergarten. We are going to talk about the kindergarten readiness checklist today. And we're also talking about some of the skills that your child needs to learn to get ready for kindergarten. So I'm excited.
Welcome to Learning Link.
Hi, well, welcome back to my channel. This is Learning Link. Kids, it's mostly a kids channel, but I was also a teacher before the pandemic, and so I like to do a little bit here and there for parents and caregivers and teachers, kind of just as an advice kind of video. I have been working on trying to get Sophia ready for kindergarten, which is a big task. This is this pivotal moment in a child's life when their education begins in the education system. As you and I know, parents and caregivers are that first bit of education and socialization that they get in the home environment. But throwing them into a school environment is a lot for our kiddos that are going into kindergarten. So that being said, my research helping her get into kindergarten and also with my previous job in early childhood kind of led me to want to do a lot more research on what a child needs to get ready for kindergarten. I know that parents ask this question a lot. What do I need to be doing from early on to right before or right when they turn 5 and head to kindergarten? So I'm going to be going over a readiness checklist. These are just some points that my school that I'm sending Sophia to has kind of given as a guideline. Every kid is different. That's something I want to point out, that your child may not be doing all of these things, some of these things, or any of these things. Your child is different, your child is special. And so don't try to compare or try to fit them into a mold because your child is learning the best way that they can. These are just some things to work on at home to kind of get them in the mood of learning. So the first group of checklist that I think is the most important is those basic needs. So with basic needs, you're going to first want to make sure that they are potty trained. Potty training is one of the hardest, but one of the biggest skills that your child needs to learn going into school. Okay, so if your child has a disability, that's understandable. There's things to work on with that. Yes, but a typical child will have potty training hopefully down by the time that they turn 5, okay? So some of the things that you need to work on is making sure they flush the toilet, they wash their hands, unbuttoning and buttoning pants is a very important thing. Making sure that they can put on their socks and their shoes and their shirt in case there's an accident where they need to change their clothing. All right, the air kicked on and my door opened up behind me and I freaked out. So that's what that was. So those basic needs, potty training, making sure that they can get dressed and undressed. Make sure you're working on that on a daily basis. Every time your child goes to the bathroom, they need to work on those key important things. Okay, also making sure that they can sit and listen to a book. You know, reading to your child at any age is a good idea. But right before kindergarten, knowing that they can sit, they have the attention span of a book, and that they can really intake that information and that story. So after you read a book, ask questions. You know, what was the character doing? Kind of putting events into order. And socialization. And I know Sophia is a 2020 kid, and she's right at that typical age of having friends, having, you know, people over, play dates. But 2020 kind of halted that for everyone. And so we have this group of kids who now have a little bit of a more behind social skills. So trying to get them, of course, safely to the park or to around family and friends, kids, because they need that social interaction building as they go into kindergarten. Of course, they will get all that when they go into kindergarten, but having that before is a really good building block. All right, so now we're going to go over some of the key areas and things that you can work on within that, and also I'll put in some activities that maybe you could do with those certain areas, okay? So the first one is gross motor skills. This, we want to make sure that they have good motor skills, that they can walk, that they can run, jump, climb. Skipping is important. A lot of parents miss that one. We certainly did, so we're working on it now with Sophia. Can you skip? Can you make sure that you have those balancing motor skills? Riding a bicycle helps a lot. Walking backwards, walking up and down stairs with and without the handrail. Those are safety things that you can be working with kids way before they start kindergarten that will help them succeed. And independently cleaning up, putting things away, and wearing and dressing and undressing themselves. So that again points back to the bathroom, or putting on their clothes in the morning, taking them off at night, putting their pajamas on, taking things in and out of their backpacks, putting things away in their room after they're done using them. So those are those gross motor skills that we're trying to work on in the first couple years to kind of help them build as they get older. Social skills. Now this is the one, like us with 2020 kids are going to have to work more on with our kids. That is using their words with other children. I don't like that when you do that. Or can you be my friend? Do you want to play? Following two-step directions. Go put away your backpack on the second hook. Can they follow that direction? Can they do that the right way? Just playing with other children, using their imagination, taking something small and making it a story. Washing hands, taking turns, asking questions. Talk to your kids about what happens if another child does something that you don't like, and how to voice your opinion in a good way. Using eye contact, keeping hands to themselves, being away from mom and dad. That is a really hard one that I think Sophia's gonna have a hard time with, because she's with me all the time and her dad, and so that's something that we will have to work on. Noticing things around her. We try to play I Spy a lot. That way, if she is lost or if she needs to describe what is around her, she can. So those are some things that really we need to work on before kindergarten. So those are the social skills. Fine motor skills. So putting together a puzzle, holding scissors correctly, using scissors correctly, holding a pencil in the correct way, buttoning and unbuttoning pants, zipping up coats, tying their shoes. We don't expect kindergartners to know all of these things, but working on those little fine motor movements is so important. And I always try to reiterate that making learning fun and making it an activity that they want to do is going to help them in the long run. They're going to want to learn things. They're going to want to do those things. So there's a lot of fine motor activities online that you can find. I know my channel has some. We work with pens a lot, like the clothespins to spell words, to use that grasp, using tweezers, using a dopper, like a water dopper. Those things can use those little pinchers to help those pre-writing activities, okay? All right. So then we have academic skills. Now this is important, but make sure that you get those basic skills down before you're worrying about their reading, their writing, their math, we want to build a base of a love of learning before we add on, here's your bookwork. Does that make sense? Okay. Recognizing shapes and colors. So knowing what a color is, what a shape is. A lot of parents use flashcards for this activity. That kind of reiterates, okay, what is this color? But while you're playing with your child, while you're on the floor, being with your child and getting that connection with your child, take the time to say, what color is this? What shape is this? What shape is Barbie's house? So that you kind of get those skills moving even in a playful and play environment. So being able to identify parts of their body, being able to say what hurts, understanding concept of words such as in and out, up and down, behind, in front of, counting from 1 to 10, recognizing their name, knowing how to spell and write their name would be really good, but just recognizing their name is going to help them a lot in school. Writing their name using capital and lowercase letters. This was something that I had to really, really work on with Sophia for a long time because she writes a lot of her words all capitals, or some capitals, some lowercase. And having her grasp the concept of your first name starts with a uppercase letter and the rest is lowercase letters, was something that was very hard. So we practice a lot. Anytime she does artwork, I'm like, make sure to sign your artwork, make sure to sign it correctly. Because first of all, that gives her pride in knowing that her artwork is hers, but also gives her that practice every time she does something of writing her name the correct way. We really had the problem with the A. She really wanted the A at the end of her name to be in uppercase. So working on those things, very typical. Tries to write last name or knows last name, and then can recite the alphabet without singing it. We don't think about these things as parents. Like, I was like, she knows her alphabet because we sing the alphabet. But knowing the letters of the alphabet is something huge for a child to learn at this age. L-M-N-O-P. Make sure that they get those letters out. And then knowing their full name, knowing what their name is, first, middle, and last, knowing their birthday and how old they are, knowing their telephone number. That's a really hard one. We haven't begun working on that yet, but that's really important. Knowing their address, the town they live in, and knowing their mom and dad's name by not mom and dad, but our actual names. That's something we don't think about either, but out in the world, that's something that's really important for kids to learn. So that's a lot of information that we have that kind of talks about that checklist and those things that kiddos need to learn. Like I said, making sure that you try to do those things in a fun way, and grab some ideas from Pinterest, grab some ideas from other kid channels about science experiments and writing practices and activities, because getting them interested is going to make it to where they're going to want to learn more. So there is that. Let's see. my next step in getting kind of ready for Sophia to travel on is to do the ages and stages questionnaire I'm comfortable with. So ages and stages will be my next thing to do with her as the summer rolls on. Like I said, there's lots of activities that can be done around going to kindergarten. It's a scary situation, but if you start talking to your kids now, saying how excited we are, and walking by or driving by your school and saying, this is your big girl school, this is where you're gonna get to go and make friends, and talking about it in a good way, it helps them realize and get the fact that they're going to school and it's gonna be so awesome. One of the hardest things for me is that I've had Sophia so long that it's really hard for me to let go. And so hopefully I can find some resources for the parents on kind of letting their babies go to kindergarten this year. So that is all I have for you today. Please leave comments, questions, anything that you have for me below in the bottom, if you'd like me to do more of these videos, or you just like the kid videos that we do. I really enjoyed researching all of this for Sophia, but also for you guys. So please let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!